What's going on? It's Beer Rap and Banter at Beer Rap Bants. Beer Rap and Banter at gmail.com. Myself English.
And your boy Cal Sirius.
Don't forget you can hit us up on the socials at the media. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We have got our latest guest in the place. Please introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Darrel Blake. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be there. Long
Thank
time
you.
coming. Long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Cheers. I know you're not drinking, for the record.
Yeah, for real.
No, let's speak on it because it's like
big
it's
up
Beer Rap
Darryl.
and Banter, but he's like on this.
Thanks for coming down, bro.
How have you found that sort of?
So I made a conscious decision. Let me get straight into it. Is because you know me from the music industry.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah. It's nearly 10 years.
Yeah.
Nearly 10 years. And you know, some of you watching will be like, "Oh, isn't that Melody?" Yeah. So, basically, because of the nightlife of DJing and playing up and down London and the UK, it was like the nightlife was really getting to me. But you know, when you've had like, you have a booking at 12, you got another booking at 2, and then you might do another one like 3:30 to like 4:15 quickly somewhere, like a 45-minute shutdown. You're hungry afterwards. And the only thing that's open at that time anyway that was interesting to me was Morley's. So I used to consume a lot of...
That's a South
barbecue.
London thing.
Yeah. Or if you're up north, you got Sam's or whatever.
I was thinking McDonald's will be open them times.
Nah, but that's...
Yeah, but Morley's though, that barbecue wings and chips
Woo.
was the killer. I think they
Those chicken burgers were so buff as well.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Because you used to live in South as well, so you can that resonates with you. But sorry, go on.
So imagine I've got like 2 bookings on a Friday night, 2 bookings on a Saturday night,
Flex.
and then Sunday there might be like a day party, and it goes on till like late.
Working.
I'm eating in the day, but it's after the bookings. I'm just like, you know what? Let me get a food, especially if I've had like a rum and coke or something. But barbecue wings, especially the one in Brixton, that was my addiction. Like, I swear, the amount of money I've paid them, I paid their rent for time. It's Morley's all the time. They're calling me boss man. You know when it's like,
Hey, boss man, it's you. Hey.
I'm like, bruh,
They already know what you're getting. As soon as you step in, they're already putting it in the bag.
They're like, hey, you want the regular boss?
yeah. Then the girl's like, so you come out all the time? Like, no, it's just cool. Like, black people look alike, innit? So you probably think I'm someone else. Probably think my name's Jamal. Like, but yeah, I consumed a lot. But what started to happen over 2 years ago is I started to get a little pain in my heart where my breathing started to change, and I thought, you know what? I don't want fat to be building around my heart because cancer's getting younger and younger. So I was like, I need to make a conscious decision. I've always wanted to like change my diet and give my body a break, but I think that was my wake up call to say, do you know what? Do it now. So what I did was cut out meat, cut out fizzy drink, cut out sweets, cut out alcohol, and just like literally cleanse my body, which then opened up my mind to other foods. So went down the vegan road. I'm more pescatarian now, so I eat fish. But what it did was open up my mind. Okay, so what other greens can I eat? Because most people are like when I used to eat meat, a meal wasn't complete without meat. That was always, oh, so where's the meat? Where's the chicken?
Did you realize that rhymed? A meal wasn't complete without meat.
What? I'm going to put that into lyrics. Soon come, you know. I'm going to have different trades. So, like, before, like, when I started to change my diet, I had stuff like more couscous, quinoa, I had more kale, started to juice more, and I was like, what? I had vegan ice cream one time. It was the best ice cream I've ever tasted. I was thinking, wow, these vegans are secret. How have they got this under wraps? So I was like, yeah. So I tried to push healthy eating as much as possible. Or like, you can eat meat if you want. I don't really judge, but just try and give your body something else, like another supplement in the meantime, between time. You know what I mean? So you have to really be careful what you put in your body, especially in this day and age of GMOs and all that sort of thing. So I changed my diet for myself, which then gave me more life because I wasn't as tired and groggy. Yeah, I haven't been late to a booking once since I changed my diet.
That's professional.
Yeah.
Have you found everything else sort of making the adjustment from meat eating and everyday regular food to your like vegan? Well, you're not vegan anymore, but pescatarian diet. How have you found the adjustment and this continuing it? Because there are some people watching it and thinking and listening, thinking, right, I want to do it, and I know it's good for me, but how can I? How is it feasible at work, pack lunch, going out with my girls, going out with my mates, going out if I've got a booking, going out with a man them if I'm going to drink? Like, what's the alternative in the kebab shop?
I would love to do that.
Or in the Morley's, you know, or the chicken shop.
There's this app. I forgot the name of it, but there's an app you can download which gives you vegetarian options in your local area. So let's say you're out and about with the girls or the man them, and you're anywhere in London. You look up the app and it will say, okay, you can go to this kebab shop, but it has a vegetarian option, or you can go to this Lebanese restaurant and they have like falafel wraps. So you can research. Literally, it's all about preparing yourself in terms of work. Like most people, like I know a lot of gym friends, like, and they meal prep with. They say, I gotta have chicken for protein. You can do the same with yourself. You just gotta substitute the chicken for something else. You can just do it once. So try it one time in the week, then try it twice and just build it up. But I would say do it when you're mentally ready. I think the revelation of the mind is better to come first than have revelation of the body.
Wow.
Because if you are not mentally prepared, you're going to make a mistake. I start on Monday. It's all like Thursday. And you could easily start now, but because your mind's not ready, and then gets to Monday, you're doing well. Then gets to Wednesday, and he's like, I had a quick wing. And it's like, let me start again on Monday. When you're mentally prepared, I was mentally ready, and I totally forgot because I was at a booking. I wanted to start on January the 1st. So it was like midnight. And I was at a New Year's Eve party.
This year,
No, 2.5 years ago.
Sorry, go on.
So 2.5 years ago, I was at shout out to Risco.
Because people don't know you're a DJ as well.
yeah.
This guy, for the listeners and watchers, one of the best sound man I've ever met. And I don't mean to say because he's a DJ and he can play songs, but in terms of fixing your sound system, if it's not
Sound boy.
Because I grew up on sound system culture. So my dad he still collects vinyls now. I remember you. Shout out to Genesis talking about collection and music and stuff like that. But he collected he started off on like Rare Groove, a lot of 70s stuff. So my alias name is the Funkaholic, as you know. Yeah, so
very
it's Melody
funky.
the Funkaholic. Some people was like, is it based on Funky House? I was like, no, it's because I grew up on the funk sound, which is like James Brown and Funkadelic. One of my favorite songs is Knee
George
Deep.
Clinton.
Yeah, come on.
Bootsy Collins.
Come on, Bootsy was he was more of that Bootsy, but a lot of West Coast people sampled a lot of Bootsy's music because he has that. Well, he had the G funk, obviously with Warren G and the Dog
Dr.
Pound.
Dre, yeah.
So I love a lot of West Coast stuff because of the
Dog
funk
Pound.
sound. I'm a massive Daz fan as well.
Oh, me too,
So-
Spud.
That's
I knew I
diligence.
liked you.
Crazy.
So I grew up on the funk, so he used to play a lot of funk. Like when I grew up on sound system culture, I mean, like he showed me how to string up a sound. So he had like the tops, the mid range, the scoops, the amp, preamp, decks. Then you had he told me how to wire it up properly, the old school way, like how to make the bins that you see in Carnival. So carve it out of wood, so all that stuff. So.
Because I must say, I've seen you save a few dances. No, drink a drink. Be humble, because I'm gonna big you up. Because I've been to a few dances where you might not necessarily been booked,
Right.
and the sound system is sounding mad tinny. Because no fault of the promoter or the people playing, the venue itself hasn't really got an idea of how to pattern the sound, and where you've come along and a few other friends or people that we know, and you've done this, you've done that, you've done whatnot, you've worked your magic, and before you know it, everything's sounding full, and you know, so that's a testament to your ear and how you know the mechanics of setting up a sound. So that's what I mean by a real sound
I
man.
appreciate that, man. Like, because I've noticed the setup in a bar is composed of hi-hats. So when you go to a bar, you mainly hear as opposed to bass. When you go to clubs like Ministry or Fabric, they're bass driven. And a lot of places that play like
Fabric is nuts, by the way. Like they've got
Mate.
like some underground kind of space. Like,
Yeah, I remember
like they've got the subwoofers under the floorboards or something. It's mad.
Fabric is one of the best places to play as a house DJ anyway. The Function ones in there. Saying that, no. I would, if I was to put it in a range of like top 3 places I've played.
Top 3 selected.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Fabric is my favorite club still.
Seriously?
Fabric is dope. But I would, all right, let's take it from an underground perspective.
Speak on it.
Fridge bar. Yeah.
South London.
Fridge
Bricky.
bar.
Bricky. Opposite Mass.
Fridge bar is probably the best place, and I know a lot of people would agree, because it's that dungeon feeling, and you can play around with the bass. There's no limiter, and it was just certain, like, especially you drop a lot of tribal house tracks, which are bass driven. you can tweak it, and you can do like one drop. So if you're spitting lyrics, you can go do.
You can see it by
One
the
drop.
smile on my face because I know from how I
They've
know
done
you
them,
as a
they've done
sound man and a
Yeah.
DJ.
So second, I would say Plan B in Brixton because
Yes.
they had Function Ones in there. That was the first time I played on Function Ones. It was an event in 2008. It was by who was a promoter? A friend of mine named Natasha Purple, and she had me, Super Pioneer on there, Carlos Aries, and yeah, this is like early days. And
Rest
yeah,
in peace to Plan B.
you know, right? And
It's changed names now.
yeah, it went to Phonox, and I think it's something else now, isn't it?
Gentrified name.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But so, and then I think last I would say is Coliseum in Vauxhall. As an underground DJ, I think Coliseum was one of the best places.
That venue was popping.
Yeah, it's got its pros
But
and
popping
cons.
for different reasons. You're saying popping because they're probably the girls, but your sound.
Everything like the crowd
Yeah.
and the vibes. Just
I
like,
think
it was
South
a great place
London-
to be in.
And I think we sort of digress in a minute, but the fact that South London has the majority of the best venues, or south of the Thames, for those who are outside of London, notoriously almost the best dances. And hand on my heart, being from someone from East London hosting and someone knowing yourself, when it comes to sort of sound systems and vibes, I don't think you could really compete with how they're doing it in South London. And I don't know if that's because of the venues or because of people that know what's going on, but
I'd say because of the venues. I mean, well, the venues are not there anymore. But in South, all right. So because of Brixton, I would say Brixton is like the hub of Jamaican culture. So when it came to blues parties, it managed to string up sound inside, even in bars and clubs and even at house parties. South was like, in terms of reggae, and reggae is, you know, comes from dub, from ska, from rocksteady, Naya Bingy drumming. Like, that was the heart of like getting the bass right. So a lot of venues and a lot of warehouses, a lot of clubs used to play a lot of like Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaac, a lot of like old school reggae where they had to get the bass right. A lot of dances used to happen in South anyway. A lot of reggae artists used to come over from Jamaica to South, and that used to be the hub for like music. Yeah, you play everywhere else, but that was the hubs. There was loads of venues there, and plus South is like so big in itself. Like, so
it's the biggest part of London.
Yeah, people call it the capital of London.
I wouldn't say about that, but being from East London, we all know
East is
what's the
amazing.
capital of London.
Yeah,
It's East.
East.
East London's the capital of London, but because
Hey,
don't sip
hold
your
on
drink.
a
No,
minute.
wait a minute. No, wait
Hold on
a
a minute.
Wait a minute.
Shoreditch is definitely popping. You gotta admit.
but
There's a lot of venues.
But we've
in
got a
Shoreditch.
South London representative because South London is so big and vast.
Yeah.
Because
the
anything
only
south of the border, but South West London, that don't count. Because there's
To be fair,
Wow.
Clapton is definitely popping as well.
Clapton
They've got
is
a little
east.
scene down it. Clapton, as in Southwest London.
Clapham or Clapton.
Clapham, excuse
Yeah.
me.
yeah,
Clapham.
yeah. Clapham is everywhere.
We
North, south, and east. I
we
mean,
all know. Oh,
north,
wait.
northwest and
We
east
all
have-
know what the capital of London is, but let's keep it moving.
Would you like to tell me where the capital of London is?
Are you for real?
Yeah. What's
You
the capital?
you're talking to two East man and you want to know the capital of
Yeah,
London?
I would love to know why East is the capital of London.
Bruv, remember
we-
where you are,
we-
fam.
We,
Remember where you are, fam. This is
oh, right.
bit of
Right,
rap and banter,
right.
bruv.
No, wait a minute. Let's go into it. Let's go into it.
Wait.
Let's go into it. Wait a
Hold
minute.
on.
No. Talk to the camera.
He just said, remember where you are. No matter where you go in the world,
He said that.
right? If someone says, all right, big up the people from the UK, where's my North London? Where's my East
All
London?
right.
Where's my-
Right.
What's the loudest?
South London.
Thank you very
Always.
much.
Because-
Always.
I appreciate it. Because
Because there's more people in
Huh?
South than anywhere.
Because why?
But is there more numbers in South? Is that what you're
It's
saying?
bigger. South London is the biggest area.
No. Right, we're going a whole
real
nother
talk,
conversation.
South London is the biggest area in London.
It is the biggest area in London.
Of course it is, yeah. Because it's like South.
Because you have a river dividing every fucking blood clot place. That's why.
That's true. But like I say,
But when it comes to when it comes to the capital of culture,
Southeast is very, very.
all
very
right.
big.
Southwest you get air.
Southeast is huge. It's
South is
massive.
Southeast.
It does cover a lot
Of course it does.
because you go from like past Plumstead, you go all the way to like Erith, and that's still it's
Where?
past it-
Still
Erith.
Southeast, yeah?
Erith, yeah, Belvedere. That's still Southeast postcode. SC. It's crazy. It's massive. Southeast is huge. Southwest is big, but Southeast is massive.
Southeast is massive, and then we love all parts of South London.
Oh, definitely.
And we'll have no sacrilege on South London because I got a lot of money in South London and I had a lot of good times in South.
Thank you for
And
contributing.
Thank you. God bless you. But I would not be at E10 Leighton, for E17 person if I didn't say East London. But that we digress. Sorry.
Little postcode beef.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. But everyone's lays their claims because Northwest has got their claim to fame.
Yeah.
And everyone's contributed to what we have as London in itself.
Yeah.
And what we have as London in itself is a massive cultural melting pot. And I think, you encapsulate that well, the podcast encapsulate that well, and what we bring as a sound system, what everyone brings together is what's really, really positive and really good. So
Yeah. No, thank you. Which in connecting to what I was saying in terms of you talking about sound is like I grew up on that, and which ultimately brought me. It's kind of like one of the many streams of why I do what I do. So me being a researcher, activist, some people have called me ethnographer, youth leader, in so many different avenues. It stems from music because a lot of my knowledge came from music. So on the reggae front and revolutionary front, it came from Black Uhuru in the 70s. Then you go into the 80s, KRS-One was my guy. A lot of my knowledge and in terms of like being proud of being black came from music. I mean, James Brown was speaking about black and proud and from the 70s and even before. So that sort of like pushes my motivation to do literally what I'm doing today right now.
So can you talk a bit more about your sort of your tours around London?
Yeah.
And what you're doing from that point of view, because that's something new that I've noticed from yourself.
Okay, so I do Black History tours or Black Presence tours, as some people like to refer them to show the existence of black contribution to Britain, because I feel like majority of the time that you hear black involvement and black presence in Britain, it tends to be from a negative standpoint, a negative connotation. So what I do is I bring the light, the blood, the sweat and the tears that pretty much has paved the way of Britain. The fabric of Britain today is literally off the blood of the other, whether you're class yourself as black Caribbean, African, or you're Asian or whatever. There is an outside bit of involvement and story that needs to be told in the walls of Britain. So I do Black History tours across. For example, one of them is I do a blood money trail where we go to the area of Bank. And in Bank, there's, because Bank is the capital, literally is London. London is a 1 square mile radius, which was built in 192 AD by the Romans. Like some of the...
Are you talking about the City of London now?
City of London, right, correct, yeah. So, like, when you come into the City of London, where you see like a dragon holding a badge, which is it's about white background with a red cross, which is like the England flag. Which is also the Knights of Templar flag, which a lot of the sailors used to. So when you go back to colonial times, a lot of the sailors used to have the flag on a lot of their ships. For example, so when you look at old images of Christopher Columbus, when you had the 3 ships, was the I think it's the Mina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, which is Saint Mary. A lot of them had the white background with the red flag. So when you go around central London, you will see a lot of places, a lot of like security logos have that. A lot of signs and emblems and coat of arms have that as well. So what I do is I take people on a tour around City of London mainly, and show the trail of how City of London is built up today off the blood, sweat, and tears of like Africans. So the Lloyd's family being one of them. Lloyd's family who started off by trading tea and coffee.
Lloyd's family as in Lloyd's Bank?
So there's 2 Lloyd's family. You've got Lloyd's Insurers and you've got Lloyd's Bank. Lloyd's Bank was kind of funded by a group of plantation owners who are from Liverpool, who also connected to Barclays as well. So there's 2 families, but they are connected because of the location and where they actually set up place. But the Lloyd's Insurers was a Lloyd's company called Lloyd's Insurers who insured the slave ships. So a lot of slave owners made a lot of money, but they owned. So for example, if a slave master had a ship that could only carry 500, they would bring like 700, 750 on board because not all of them are going to make it. There's going to be rebellions. There's going to be a lot of deaths, people getting thrown overboard. So if I'm on a ship and I feel sick, they're like, okay, well, you're not going to be useful, so I'm going to throw you overboard. But if you're sick, whoever you're chained to pretty much would have caught it anyway. So once I'm getting thrown overboard, I'm chained. So whoever's next to me getting chained, be it a child, be it a man, be it a woman, you're just going overboard, and that's it. There's a great film. It's not really great, but it's an example of this. Is a film called Amistad, and it's got Morgan Freeman in it as well.
That's an emotional movie, man.
There's an example of when they're throwing people off, and what they do is that they get a sack of bricks or rocks and throw it over, so it goes straight down, and then you're chained to that. And that's the reason why they had these chains as well that was so heavy, because it's not so that to keep you down. It is to keep you down, but it's to keep you down in the water. So when you throw you over, the weight of the chain around your neck and around your body will keep you down, so you can't swim back up. So there's a lot of stories within like a triangle that I take people on, not to give away too much information because I want you to come on the tour, where so you got East India Arms, which dealt with the tea trading. So you have British governments that was involved in conquering a little bit of India, and then when they colonized India and created a caste system, they started to trade tea. So if you look at
sorry to cut you there, bro, but did you just talk about the creation of the caste system?
In India, yeah, it's a British thing. So it's
The
like
British created the caste system.
in India. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
So
know
in,
that.
in most places, like there is a. All right, so we'll get to that. But so when you look at the fabric of Britain, so for example, if and you can see this with like a lot of Americans think British people drink a lot of tea. For example.
Well, we do.
So drink a lot of tea, right? For example, so like when you watch like Top Boy, for example, there's more tea drank in Top Boy this one than in the last 2 seasons. Obviously, Americans' idea of all right, cool. So,
But also, it's accurate. Like, I can imagine a roadman making a cup of tea. Like,
I know a few
people drink tea.
They ain't drinking
People
tea.
drink tea around there.
they might think cheap, but they overdid it. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm
What?
not saying they don't drink tea.
Because
no,
Bash
speak on it,
asked for a
speak on
cup of tea. Like, we drink tea. We
like-
drink tea in Britain.
Well, we do, but it's like tea is a British thing. When you go ahead,
But the money behind the tea plantation and the tea colonization is
right? So
massive.
Stuart Hall talks about this. So all right, let's look at tea. Do you drink tea?
Yeah.
All right. So just what comes with tea? So you put tea in a mug, right?
Yeah.
All right. Where does the tea come from? Where do tea leaves come from?
plantation.
I'd like to shout out the ETP at this point, the Ethical Tea Partnership. They make sure that the tea comes from places where the workers are getting paid a decent wage. So if you buy tea that is from the ETP, then you know people who are working in the tea plantations
But does everyone
get
buy
paid well.
Does everyone buy Tetley and PG Tips? Is that from?
Oh,
Where's that? So tea leaves generically come from India. Do you have sugar in your tea?
no.
Okay. Do you know people that have sugar in their tea?
Yeah, most people do.
All right. So you've got
Dead.
tea leaves, then you've got sugar. So where does sugar come from?
Sugarcane plantations.
Okay. So what do you hold? How do you drink your tea? What are you holding?
Mug.
What's the porcelain? What is it called?
China.
So where does that comes from?
China.
So you've got tea leaves from India, sugar from the Caribbean, and you've got porcelain from China. 3 places that Britain's colonized.
Woo!
So when
I'm gonna need a drink off this. Is the
So when you look at the idea of Britishness, which is tea, the whole idea of Britishness is based upon the concept of colonizing other people. But you just think you're drinking sugar. Do you drink brown sugar? Do you use brown sugar?
I prefer brown sugar to white sugar.
Okay. Where does
I want some of that brown sugar.
in more ways than one. Sorry. Sorry.
So with brown sugar, do you know where brown sugar mainly comes from?
I would have thought brown sugar comes from the Caribbean.
Yeah. Do you know which one mainly?
I don't know specifically, no.
Okay.
Brother, we about to finish this whole bottle
Sorry,
of rum.
Go ahead. Talk.
That's a litre.
Talk.
So Demerara sugar, brown sugar, is based on colonizing of Guyana. So you have, not only do you have white sugar, which is pretty much Caribbean based, and you've got tea leaves from India, and you've got porcelain from China. Brown sugar is also Guyana, another place that was colonized. So the idea of Britishness has to involve the oppression of other people. So when it comes to like the nation,
No. You got to stop there now. That's crazy. What you just said.
Yeah.
The idea of Britishness has to involve the colonization of other people. Because I think us modern Brits would think that the idea of Britishness is like going down to Brick Lane and having a curry, having a beer, just being tolerant of other people and other cultures.
Okay.
Modern Britain.
That's modern day Britain. But and we spoke about this earlier, the romanticized view of colonization, of what the Brits did hundreds of years ago, 50 years ago, and how they came and infiltrated and fucked shit up, basically. Because when I went to Sri Lanka, and there's a tea plantation, one of the biggest tea exports in the world is Sri Lanka. And, you know, the whole view of like the Brits and, oh yeah, you know, England came in and, you know, the God save the Queen and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, what they did was not very nice, was awful. And it goes deeper than a tea bag and a one spoon of sugar.
Because there's slaughter. And when you're talking about the caste system, it's like wherever you find, all right, so when you talk about anywhere below the line of the equator, for example, where it tends to be like dark hue people, anywhere that Britain has colonized, there's colorism.
But that was back then.
Say it again.
Anywhere that Britain has colonized, there's colorism.
But that was back then. What's that got to do with right now?
Do you feel like, okay, so are you saying that colonialism doesn't exist today?
Well, I'm saying that was like hundreds of years ago. Like that's got nothing to do with 2019, has it?
Well, so okay, so I mean we're all cool. Everything's rosy now.
Are we?
Oh, you tell me before.
I don't think we are personally. I'm gonna take a step back because I'm like, you know,
I just would love to know. Like, do you think like everything?
as a white boy in the conversation, I'm just gonna move back.
Okay.
Right.
So
Speak on it, because this episode is definitely going over 30 minutes.
No,
'cause
this
deep.
is an interesting
No, we're
conversation.
going to talk on it,
right
and
here.
this is why we got Darrel at the end, because like my guy, you know, speak on it, man, because people need to listen.
Your opinion, because it's interesting. Like,
No, people's opinion. Everyone's gone. Speak on it.
I'm actually just playing devil's advocate in it.
I can tell.
There's a lot of people out there.
And you're drunk.
There's a lot of people out there that would feel like whatever happened in the past is in the past.
No, but that has a ripple
Society
effect.
has moved on. What's that got to do with what we're going through right
There's
now?
an adverse effect to what we face
society
today.
has moved on. All right, so you got to look at it like this. When slavery was over, so you had sorry, wavy. So you had in 1807, you had the abolishment of slave trading. And then in 1833, you had the abolishment of slavery. When slavery was over, right, you got to look at it like this. When slavery was over, they gave money in compensation to the slave owners, because slave owners was like, oh, so you want to free the slaves, so I've got crops I need picking, I've got land, because human beings were called property. So who's going to be able to pick this? I need my money. So it's like, okay, for how many slaves you got, I'm going to give you money. So the slave owners were compensated, not the actual slaves. What they did is that they paid the money, which came up to £20 million in 1834. How they made their money back, the British government, is taking our tax money. We finished paying off slavery in 2015.
Wow. So you're saying we've been paying reparations to slave owners up until 2015?
So you're talking about over £7 billion. That's what it's come up to. So let's say now, because you said it's over and done with.
Reparations to slave owners.
Yeah. So remember, all right. Look at it like this. You work. You pay your taxes. Okay. Your tax money goes to the government, which replaces the money that was offered to the slave owners who enslaved your family. So basically, you just paid your slave master, say, thank you very much for what you've done with my family. I know that you freed my family, so I'm going to give you some money to help free them. That's pretty much what you did, out of your money. Now, the money, the reparations that you haven't got, that I don't have, right, is what basically connects, are we still in that same point? We haven't had so basically, there's something in psychology called delayed onset of trauma, delayed onset of illness. So that's like, if you have a car crash now, you're fine. 10 years later, you might be affected. You're like, oh, my leg's playing up. Oh, my hip. it's because it's called delayed onset of illness. A lot of people are suffering from delayed onset of illness. So because our mindset, we didn't have any therapy. A lot of people that experienced during like the World War II era with Hitler had therapy. African nations and Caribbean nations are the only ones who have not had any therapy or treatment or some sort of get back in any shape, way or form after slavery. Not one.
It sounds like you're talking about some kind of a post-traumatic stress disorder that descendants of slaves may have been picked up.
All right. So whenever you go through a trauma or you go through a deep experience, you go to get therapy, and you become abusive. So like, which connects to how people are on the road. Great book, by the way.
Oh, wait. Don't just flash it. Show it again. No, seriously. So for the listeners, Darrel showing a book. What's the title of the book?
It's called Government and Urban Poverty.
Hope we can get a nice close up on that there.
Turn it that way.
And
that
then,
way.
what's the name of the author? Because for people that are listening, how
Okay,
come?
so you've got Joan Higgins, Nicholas Deacon, John Edwards, Malcolm Wicks. And you can see it's got Brixton Riots in there in the corner, which is very important.
Yeah, go support that.
One of the main books that changed my life was a guy named Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. It's called Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys.
Hold that.
Fantastic book. I can get the spelling there for you if you can zoom in on that.
Yeah, of course you can.
This book is very, very important. In terms of understanding how the mindset is, like the way it's affected us today is about learning about love of self and love of hate.
So
yeah, and in terms of like, if you look at poverty, a lot of places.
Speak on
this
it.
just blew my mind.
No.
Like,
Listen.
honestly.
Listen. Right. Stop. Everyone, take a stop.
Man said the conspiracy to destroy black boys.
Because right. We've had a drink. We've been filming all day, and we got Darrel on set.
I'm actually completely fucked up at this.
This is what we need. So this is what we need. Speak on it, because everyone take a second. Because beer, rap, and banter it is all about the beer. It is all about the banter. It is about the rap music. But we're trying to drop gems for the YouTube, for the SoundCloud, for the Spotify, whatnot. But
with beer, rap, and banter, there are many pubs where people have deep conversations.
And this is what we're trying to do. No, I know.
They drop. Like, got Ray Kwani.
All of these rappers are dropping.
But this is why
a
we got
lot
you
of
on show.
consciousness.
So everyone take a second just to meditate, because
you know you're gonna get certain mans watching and they're gonna be billing it.
No, but we're not. Listen.
So you're gonna have to. It's catering to everyone. So beer, rap, and banter is important. It covers everything.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But we drop gems, so
Definitely,
speak on it.
because this ties into hip hop music.
Speak on it, and
So-
it's your time.
So the love.
I'll put the mic down because I'm not privileged to this conversation as being a
Mate,
white man in England. So
Mate, me
But,
personally,
no,
I've
no,
never
no,
heard
no,
of.
no.
I like to think I'm a conscious black person,
Yeah.
and I've never heard of any of these authors that you're talking about. And you've got physicals, you've got
Yeah, no,
books.
proof, because
So I'm gonna
it's
put
not
my
only
mic
from-
down and listen.
It's not even just because remember I've got a book here. Yeah, it's a sociology book, right? It's a sociology book right here, which is a GCSE book. So not only is it like you can get information from outside, they are teaching important information in schools, which could be racial bias, which I'm going to show you in a second. So when it comes to delayed onset of illness, some people are affected now, or they're showing signs of affection now, but you don't even know where it comes from. So when you look at, all right, cool. So poverty, when you go into areas, especially in Britain, a lot of the poverty-driven areas are run by schemes called projects. The idea coming from America, where they said, you know, let's create a project where you have high-rise blocks. If we put them on top of each other, and we have churches everywhere, mosques everywhere, 24-hour license everywhere. In America, places like Queens is a prime example of the high-rise buildings.
So you're talking about 24-hour off license where they sell alcohol
Yep.
and the housing projects in
Yep.
America.
And the gun stores and everything like that.
Right.
It's the same thing we have in a lot of areas in London. When you go to, let's hub in on Brixton for a minute. So Brixton is a prime example because you've got an estate called Summer Leighton Estate. The actual, on the main road of where on Cold Harbour Lane, Summer Leighton Estate, the shape of it is actually formed as a coliseum. So the outside of it is
In
like
Cold Harbour Lane.
Cold Harbour Lane. The outside, for those that know Brixton and know Cold Harbour Lane, Summer Leighton Estate, the outside of it is shaped as a coliseum, yeah, because it's built as a project to say, all right, everything that's bad happens inside there. So it's built like a coliseum. That's where the warfare is. So the structures that some, not all, but many of ethnic minorities are based in areas that are projects, areas that are function and built in a way for us to kind of navigate. Where it's like, okay, we keep the chicken shops there, we keep the churches there, we keep the bad schools there, we keep okay, so that's a systematic thing that's built up, which people call it as a ghetto, which was the name of the concentration camps that Hitler put the Jews into. That's where we get the concept from.
Bars.
Okay, so when you've got people who are parents who had to make their way through British society just by trying to work and make ends meet, but we didn't own anything. So it's like the traumas of slavery are still playing on our minds today, because there's a speech, whether the person's real or not, is by William Lynch, where he talks about the how to separate slaves by divide and conquer. So he put the old versus the young, tall versus short, light skin versus dark skin, curly hair, straight hair. He came up with this in 1712 in Virginia.
Willie Lynch has a legend. I believe he was a real person, but obviously I don't know.
But his theory works, because he said if you do this method within, because he was like talking, it works in the Caribbean because Caribbean was rife. But he said if you do this method, it'll work for at least 300 years, which would make it 2012 would be the 300-year mark, and at least, and we're still in that time now. The way how we behaved back then, we've lost those ways, because back then we knew we had a common enemy. We knew that was Massa, whatever, but we need to stick together. We need to work together. We need to build. So we had our own little structures, our own little system, own little faith base. We even got married under slavery. Now, because we don't have that same structure, because we don't have that same mindset in terms of sticking together, a lot of us are turning on each other. You kill within your proximity. You kill within your... You see what I'm saying? So when it's delayed onset of illness, it's because we haven't had that therapy of coming out of slavery, where we had to back up and say, all right, cool. Because most of us were just left to how it is. So I'm not saying anywhere across... Sorry, below the line of the equator that Britain has conquered, like the Caribbean, South America, so on and so forth. If you look how the caste system works, the people who are the closest to European standards are the ones that are always favored. So when you look at hip hop music, we look at drill music, we can name 10 drill videos right now, and I guarantee you 90% of the women either look Eastern European, look Persian like Kim Kardashian, or they are particular like Latin American, or they are fairer skin, which is a bad term, because if light skin people are called fair skin, the opposite of fair is unfair, which is unequal, which is bad. So if you're the opposite of light skin, you're dark skin, that must mean you're unfair. So dramatically...
Did you hear about that music video? I think it was, I forget the name of the artist, but there was a music video with quite a prominent artist in American hip hop, where they took out a dark skin model and they put in a light skin model.
Yeah.
And the artist actually had to step in and say, hold on a minute.
Was it Tory Lanez?
Tory Lanez.
I think.
And he had to step in and say, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Bring that dark skinned girl back, because she wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
She was being a model, she was attractive, and there was no reason for you to take her out.
Which ties into a documentary that I've got coming out.
Right, speak on it, because I was just about to interject.
Yeah. Cause I know it's because of time in that.
Not even time in that. Listen. You can talk. Listen.
Well, we're in OT right now.
No.
Extra time.
It doesn't matter. Our listeners and our viewers will appreciate this talk, because this is real shit. I know we both waved, but this is real talk. So just speak on sort of the Dole test, the birth of self-hate experiment, and then let us know what it is, and also how we can get tickets to watch and experience it, because I know you're narrating it.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of self-hate and dolls and black children and the black dolls them, and
so so I created this documentary with a team up in Birmingham, and what we did was I saw a doc 16, 17 years ago, probably about even more than that. I saw an experiment that was shown to me, where it was a doll test. There was two people called Kenneth and Mamie Clark, they're psychologists, and what they did is they put down 4 dolls, all dressed the same, but just different race. And what they did is they examined what would happen when you asked children which doll's the good doll, which doll's the bad doll, and then majority of the time, a lot of people said the bad doll was the black one. So what he was doing was bringing to the case that in America, you had something called a separate but equal act, or separate but equal clause, where it's basically saying segregated schools. So it's like, you can have your schools, but as long as everything's equal. So you can have a gymnasium, you can have a basketball team or whatever. So it's separate but equal. They put that forward to say, even though it's separate but equal, there's still like internal racism and segregation that's going on that can affect the mindset of people. So they brought that forward to the case. That also helped, which created something called the Brown Board of Education. That's another story. But with that, I was like, yo, that's deep. Like, I wonder what our children today think. And most of our knowledge when it comes to black history is American-centered. So I was like, why don't we have our own stuff? There's enough people here to, hey, why not? So I done a social experiment, which is in respect to them too, in the 1940s. But I want to look at it from a now perspective. Because most of us say that, yeah, we're knowledgeable, we know about this stuff. It's like, all right, but what do you think the children know about? And I believe the best way to fight racism in this world is to have self-love.
Amen.
Really, that's what I thought it is. So when I created this, I wanted to see what would be the aspect now, what's the viewpoint, and the results. I can't tell you what the results are, but the results will make you go like, wow.
Right. So if you want to see the results and you want to see the findings, let people know where. So you've got 2 viewings of the.
Yeah. So I got one in Birmingham.
I want to say documentary, but it's not a documentary. It's an experiment. But I don't like using the word experiment. It's an investigation. But even that's the wrong term. So
even producer terms, it's documentary short. Like
listen. So
you can find it where you can find. You can
speak on
so
it,
basically, where you can see the documentary. I'm having 2 showings. One in Birmingham on the 23rd of October, which is going to be shown at BCU, which is Birmingham City University. Reason why it was shown there first is because the children in the video, in the footage, are from Birmingham. So it's bring it home. Let them see the big stuff on big screen, and then we bring it to London, and then hopefully I'll be able to take it other places. So it'll be shown in BCU, Birmingham City University, on the 23rd of October. You can go on Eventbrite and type in the Dole Test, and you will see it come up. And then in London, you can see it on the 8th of November. I'm showing it in North London, okay? And you can go on Google and type in the Dole Test London, or go in Eventbrite, type the Dole Test in, and you will see the London premiere, and you can get tickets.
We're gonna have to go watch that, bro.
It's free, by the way.
So
it's actually free.
Right. So if people want to follow you, and check out the Dole Test, the viewing, in which you're narrating.
Yep, my voice is all over it.
And you got a great voice.
Yeah.
How can we follow you and the Dole Test documentary?
Okay, so on social media, if we talk about Instagram, it's Darrel.Blake, so it's DARREL.Blake. And if you go on Twitter, it's Darrel__Blake. And following the Dole Test movement, it's the hashtag TDT 2019 or the hashtag the Dole Test, and you'll be able to see everything.
Because I wanted to pick up on this, because like, I will inevitably have a mixed race child of a boy or a girl. And then and I would hope that they would pick up a Dole of their preference, but I will give them a Dole of both black and white, skin tone. So it's interesting coming from a white man, parent, and then God willing, I have kids. Inshallah, I'll have beautiful black children. But, it's like, how do I then sort of give them that opportunity to have kids, dolls to sort of, I can't word it. It's a bit mad. It's like, it's not self-hate, because I preach self-love. And then down the line, I'm going to ship them off to their aunts and uncles or whatnot. And then being where I'm from, I'll always stay true to my friend's essence. So it's like, I don't know how I'm trying to get. I don't know what I'm trying to say, because obviously I'm drunk. But
obviously.
But no. I'm being real, because this is real. But as a white man with a mixed race wife, and our kids will be of mixed heritage.
Yep.
So how do I give them the Dole? Obviously I'll give them the Doles they want. But how do I then promote that sort of value of self-love? It's a mad question to ask you, obviously.
That's a very important question, because it's about seeing themselves. I think the main issue is that a lot of our children don't see themselves. A lot of Barbie literally is the epitome of beauty.
Yeah, Barbie's a white thing with blonde hair.
Beauty of beauty.
Aryan beauty.
Yeah, but
With blue eyes.
for my upbringing, white, but my youths them eventually my children them will be of mixed parents, obviously, because my wife is like half Jamaican, half Irish.
Yeah,
so my children will be mixed race, and then how I'm eventually trying to grow. We're moving out of London, and they're gonna grow up in a white area.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I then make them appreciate their black heritage?
Simply by showing them the beauties of black heritage. As soon as you move out of London, they're going to be attacked straight away. They're going to be called the other. Unfortunately, because of where we're living, straight away you have to show them the beauty, whether it be through Disney films, whether it be through dolls, whether it be for books. There's so many books now in this day and age, comparison to when we was younger. Like, there's so many options where you can show them self-beauty, and it's about wording as well, because there's an issue happening right now. Not to digress, but there's
No.
Have you seen the H&M thing that happened?
Don't digress. Speak on it.
Have you seen the
Speak on it.
H&M advert?
Which one?
The coolest monkey in the jungle?
No,
That's
there's a
old,
recent
that's
one.
old.
There's one
I haven't seen the
2 days
recent
ago. There was a H&M poster 2 years ago where it showed a black girl with her hair back in one, and the concept of H&M was scruffy hair, messed up hair. We're not going to try and do their hair. It's just we're going to put clothes on them, and this is how it's going to be.
Listen.
So what they did it for all. So you had Asian children, white children, and you had a black girl, and people lost their minds, saying that the black girl's hair wasn't done properly, so on and so forth. But it was actually funny thing about it. Personally, she was in her natural state. But people were so caught up, not everyone, but a lot of people caught up that her hair wasn't slicked down. It's like, this is literally her in her natural state. And we're still, even as big people, we're still conditioned to see the eyes of beauty being
European.
Right, exactly.
Is that the documentary? The
hair being closer to European hair.
What's the old documentary? The Good Hair documentary by Chris Rock.
Yeah, Chris Rock, fantastic.
Oh, Good Hair was amazing.
It's phenomenal, and like being as a white man who's dating a mixed race girl, and our kids who will inevitably be of mixed race, and they will experience that. So it's just fascinating for me.
Remember,
Yeah, man. Shout out to Chris Rock still.
Well, your children, it's going to start off with hair. Obviously, people are going to notice their skin tone. Say, okay, you know white, you've got so what? Then that, but you
got white hair or black hair.
This is, and then it will go good hair or bad hair.
No.
That's what's going to come into it.
But who defines what good hair, bad hair is?
It's about what we've been indoctrinated to see.
I didn't have a drink. This is deep.
It's about the doctrine that we've been told as what's good and what's bad. Long and flowy has always been, like, as a kid growing up in school, girls had their hairs braided or not. That was it. Braided was just like, that's it. But the closest thing to European standards of hair being long and flowy and you run your fingers through it.
I think straight hair has been in Europe. Straight hair has been adopted as the norm for beauty.
Definitely.
And curly hair is like an alternative style, but straight hair is most definitely
because it's
adopted as the norm.
Paul Mooney says,
if I say the N-word long enough, make my teeth white.
Yeah, but
I can't say the N-word obviously because I'm not like a
Paul
cunt.
Mooney says,
and I don't want to get beaten up.
He says that when your hair's nappy, they're not happy. When you're relaxed, they're relaxed.
Woo!
That's what Paul Mooney says.
Bars.
So the whole idea of European standards has been going on from slavery times. It literally has from colonial times.
Right.
So it's you have to put images of beauty of all shades to them, right? Books, through films, media, bringing them into areas. So let's say you move out of London and they don't really go to like,
which we're hoping to do. So right.
So you move out of London.
We are looking to move out of London.
Okay, when you move out of London, still bring them back.
To the hood.
Not
to the hood. The hood's the
roots.
worst word.
To the roots.
To the roots.
Because curly more of themselves.
Because curly hair is what is natural to African people.
Yeah.
So if you're looking up to a European ideal, a European standard of beauty, then it makes you think that your natural state isn't good enough.
Where's your fam? Where's your background?
Which is wrong. That's incorrect. Your natural state is beauty.
Ghanaian. Both sides. You got Ghanaian, yeah.
Yes.
Nigeria, 70% of 77% of Nigerian women bleach their skin. 40% of Indian women.
Whoa. 77% of Nigerians bleach their skin?
40% of Indian women bleach their skin.
Oh, I'm done.
It's a fact.
I'm actually just done.
All right, listen. That is walking off. Right. This is Beer Reprimand now. Darrel, let us know this month for Black History Month. Where can we hit you up?
On my social media channels, I put out information about where you can see me talking, guest appearances. I've got a load coming up, and I'm doing the features in a couple of schools as well. But to get all the information, please go to my social media pages. That's where you can find all the details. First up, I'm going to be on the Heritage TV show coming up with Naturalie, amazing sister. She's a poet and a great spoken word artist. And then I'm doing the love culture. Have a book club with a guy named Johnny Pitts, who wrote a book called Afropean. So he's given, instead of like, you got African American, we've got Afropean. And his book is looking at through the eyes of being a European through the black lens. Really good book. And lastly, on the 5th, I'm speaking at Let's Shatter the Taboo, which is looking at black men and mental health, which is a very important topic to touch on, which is happening in Croydon. So, but go to my socials. I've got all the details for Black History Month where you can catch me.
What's your socials?
One more time. On Instagram, Darrel.Blake, DARREL.Blake. And on Twitter, it's Darrel__Blake.
This is the sounds of Beer, Rap and Banter. Darrel Blake, Black History Month.
Thank you.
Take care.